pitch is looped toward shortstop. Petroselli's back. He's got it. The Red Sox win. And it's pandemonium on the field.
Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappola and Boston sports media personality John Mallory.
Welcome, everybody. Look at these faces. 1, 2, 3. 3 really, really, really homely-looking guys, except for me. Come on, look at me. Look at this. Look at this profile. Seriously.
Looks
right?
Nice. Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zapp, my good friend and co-host, John Mallory, media personality out of the city of Boston, who no longer can work in the city of Boston, quite frankly.
I can work.
No, you got thrown out of there. Get out of here. You get please.
I get tossed. I have integrity.
Okay, but you pissed off. You pissed off a few people.
That's different. Yeah, sure.
All right, listen. You can listen to us, by the way, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, any of your favorite platforms. We're on YouTube. We're all over the place. We've got a great show today. We got our good friend, Mr. Dan Wulkan from Memory Lane Auctions, and the marketing facilitator. You like that, David?
That was a good one.
Pretty cool. Good one, yeah. Marketing facilitator for the National Sports Collectors Convention, Dave Marino, who is joining us. Dave's going to be with us for this first segment. Listen, before we get into this, our little PSA for the National. Hey, collector and sports fan, this one's for you. The National Sports Collectors Convention is teaming up with hobbyists like you to support Make-A-Wish Illinois and St. Jude Children's Research Hospital through the 2025 card-raising fundraising sweepstakes. And it's your chance to win big for a great cause. Iconic prizes are up for grabs, like a 1951 Bowman Mickey Mantle graded SGC 5, an 86 Fleer Michael Jordan PSA 8, and an incredible original painting by sports artist Murray Henderson titled Chicago Sports Legends. Here's how it works. Donate just $25 to enter. And yes, you can enter up to 40 times. The more you give, the more chance you have to win, and 100% of the proceeds are split evenly between St. Jude and the Make-A-Wish Illinois Foundation. Winners will be drawn on August 6th, and all items will be on display at the 45th National Sports Card Convention. So don't wait. Head to the nsccshow.com/card fundraising sweepstakes to enter today. That's nsccshow.com/card fundraising sweepstakes.
You haven't been working on your letters.
Collect, give back, and win big. Win big. That's what it's all about. All right, listen. And by the way, in the second, after the second segment, we have the second round of the GAX AI Sweet 16 NBA All-Time Tournament, powered by Danny Shapiro, the basketball savant, and sponsored by our good friend Paul Borges at PB Collectibles. Go to pbcollectibles.com for all of your great cards and sports memorabilia. And by the way, if you don't like our GAX AI Sweet 16 tournament, send all of your bitches to either Dan or to Paul. All right, let's talk to our good friends. First of all, Danny, out of the gate, what is this I Own It Now that you guys have on the website?
It's actually for everybody but Boston Red Sox fans who can't understand the alphabet from A to Z and lowercase. So back to the I Own It Now marketplace. This is an incredible offering no one has ever done. It's more or less items that you can buy immediately. And when you're talking about holy grails, I'm going to name off a bunch that will kind of give you an idea as to where you kind of find this stuff. You know, this type of stuff, it just does not come up. So we're pretty proud to represent all these clients of ours that have these items. And if you want to, own it, you can own it now by contacting us. We do not post any prices on the website. So as a splattering of incredible stuff, 55 top Sandy Koufax rookie in a PSA 9. We've got a Ty Cobb game-used bat from circa 1923 to 1925. It's graded a 9.5.
Wow.
We have a 52 Look and See Rembrandt in a PSA 9. A 51 Bowman rookie in a 9. A Babe Ruth 1916 M101 PSA 4 blank back. Ty Cobb cards. The first to be considered the very first baseball card, the 1869 Peck and Snyder Red Stockings card, which is authentic. The Lou Gehrig Luckiest Man Speech original Type 1 photo. A 55 Clemente in a PSA 8.5. An unopened pack of 7980 Topps Hockey Wax, to try and get the Gretzky rookie. The original Type 1 photo to the Ty Cobb T206 image. I mean, this stuff just does not. It doesn't come up for auction.
So, Danny, there's no bidding on this. It's not an auction.
Yeah, I mean, how does it work? We call you up,
contact you, and you can buy it outright.
John, 100%. You literally can just call us, and we don't post the prices because, people who are serious about it, who are interested, they're going to call us.
Right.
We don't want to post the prices because if they end up buying it privately, they don't want people to know what they paid for it.
Sure.
So again, we don't post the prices.
No trades, none of that stuff, right?
Sorry?
No trades.
No trades. Right now these are just fixed prices for these types of items. And they're very special items because they're pieces that a lot of the higher end advanced collectors are going to add them to their set registry. And I mean, a Namath in an 8.5, a Russell, a rookie in an 8, a Gehrig rookie in a 5. These are items that if you see these items come up in other auctions, they're reserved. These do not come up. And we're so against reserves, but that's
you didn't have any of them on display at the National?
Yeah, we will have some of them on display at the National. Absolutely, we'll have a lot of them on display at the National.
Danny, can I ask you, what was in terms of memory lane and the thought process? What was the genesis of this? Were you feeling that maybe some of these items were being kind of lost in the shuffle in auctions? How did this come about?
A lot of this stuff, when it's in auction, like I said before, is just reserved. And rather than put this in an auction, and we don't do reserves in our auction, we run a very straightforward auction, so people win it. And, it's the whole idea behind it is that you can buy it right away and you can own it and you're done. You add it to the set registry, which was an incredible invention, because it keeps people, no matter if you're young or old, it keeps people competing and it makes it fun. So,
Dave, are you a collector?
Massive, unfortunately.
Really? What is your specialty?
Oh God, I have so many little pockets of my collection at this point. Anything Yankees, because the Yankees are way better than the Red Sox. Everyone should remember that. I collect.
Oh, wait, hold. Those are the Yankees that have not won a championship now in how many?
I think Dave was talking.
I digress.
I think we have a few championships, and probably a few more than the Red Sox, right? So
I'm talking about we're talking about after color TV now, though.
The 2000s have not been great to the Yankees. Lots of hope, lots of promise, not much delivery.
Let's just do this the rest of the show.
Listen, the rest of the league can benefit from our incredible farm system and grow superstars that were meant to be Yankees. I think the Red Sox have a catcher, right? In that farm system. Got it. Okay. I collect some really, really weird things. Lots of 1980s, 90s Jets players. I have a really, really fun Don Mattingly collection that I love. I collect items from all of the events that we do, which is a fun new little collection I'm building. but mostly now modern trading cards.
So, what is your role? What is your role for the National this year?
Great question. I do a little bit of everything. So we produce the National experiences, which are all of the events that surround the National now in an official capacity. That includes the VIP party, the corporate partner and dealer welcome night, and the trade nights. So there are now 3 official trade nights that have been a real hit.
By the way, we're going to be broadcasting from the National on Friday, the Friday of the National, from 1 to 3 on the main stage, which I think they've moved, or they're in the process of moving. I guess it's going to be kind of like at 42nd and Broadway. It's going to be a beautiful location. So stop by and say hi. We have a panel. We're going to have a panel discussion for 2 hours, 2 separate panels, a lot of giveaways. So we're going to have some fun with that. So David, how long?
Zap, is it going to be? It's going to be someone other than you for 2 hours talking, right?
Well, yeah. To be honest with you, yes.
Okay, good.
First hour is going to be co-hosted by myself, Joe Orlando.
Oh, great.
Al Crisafoli from Love of the Game and Brian Dwyer from REA Auctions. Second hour, Derek Grady, Joe Tomasulo, and I don't know who the hell the third one is. I can't remember. Oh, Brian Drent. So that's a good crew. Yeah. I invited Dan, but he blew me off, which is fine, Dan. That's not a problem.
Hey, Tom, let's get back to David. You asked him about his collection. I love the story he told about finding out, with his cousins having stuff. I'd love to hear that again. I think that's so cool and authentic.
Yeah, that is it's a weird path that my life has taken. But I found out about a year ago that my father's cousins were pretty big in the hobby in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and unfortunately, they left the breadth of their collection at my grandmother's apartment, and it was all destroyed. Which is horrible. But they were responsible for a lot of the card shows in the New York area in the 80s and early 90s, and kind of funny that my path in life has taken me here down a very windy road.
Very cool. Sentimental. That's cool.
So how long have you been working with Joe? I mean, is this your first gig with Joe Drellick and the gang there, or have you worked off and on with him?
No, so it's kind of funny. Joe and I became friends, about a year and a half before JBJ became show management of the National. And I was building an event. I created an event called the Mint Collective in Las Vegas.
Oh, sure.
And, I spent about 2.5 years really focused on building that. And we brought in IMG as a partner, and IMG really took it to greater lengths. But after Mint Collective kind of rolled into what it rolled into, Joe asked me to come and join him and help him, with the Philly show. And we've spent, the last 2.5 years together. I've been assisting on kind of reimagining what that show can look like and bringing on corporate partners. And, I came to the National, and it's been a really, really, wild ride, because the National was kind of, that tentpole event that I fell in love with, that like really brought me into the space. My first National was 21, and I was walking around, there's something about dealer focused shows that show you what the collector's experience is.
Right.
Can you go ahead? No, finish. Go ahead. Finish up, Dave. Go ahead.
No, I think that, with Mint Collective, we really took a focus on, bringing in the right dealers, and then being able to work with Joe and Jim and Brian on their shows. You really see where the heart of this hobby is. And, it truly is in the collector's experience and not necessarily the hype and value experience. So, that's really where I gravitate.
In doing the show, like over the course of the year, it's like everything that we do, and even some of the questions, no matter what time of year that we ask these questions, the National is sort of omnipresent, in the hobby. And maybe it's the time of year it is, because it's sort of like mid-year. You had a little bit of 2025 now, and then it's kind of a springboard into the fall, the holiday season. Both you guys, because you bring in different perspectives. Dan from an auction house perspective, Dave as both a collector and now someone who's involved in the planning of the National. What does this event mean to the business, and put it in perspective as to, its full meaning to what you guys do. We'll start with you, Danny.
Mark my words, this show is going to be probably the best show, the best national ever. And I'll tell you why. There has become a gluttony of interest from all walks of life. There has been additions to, the marketplace with athletes buying stuff, with which I hope to God they tread lightly when they're buying all these modern cards of themselves for $100,000 and $200,000 that could drop. But as far as like seeing clients bringing the Hall of Fame of stuff to show people, to display, to get them to interact with us, like Memory Lane has always been known for bringing a game used Gehrig bat for people to hold. Take a picture with a T206 Honus Wagner. It is a lot about the sales, and everybody wants to make money, but it's also about bringing in the kids and the fathers and having that father-son connection to hold a piece of Hall of Fame history, and make it more interactive, as well as blowing people away with, we're bringing a couple books signed by Disney. We have a book signed by Martin Luther King, Coretta Scott King, and Ralph Abernathy. I mean, it's just bringing stuff that even if it doesn't sell, someone can hold a letter of Albert Einstein or a T206 Wagner.
Well, I was going to say, but you also have the two T206 collection books signed by Tom Zappler, Lou Blasi, and Joe Orlando, correct?
Yeah, they're tough sales, so we're going to be giving those away for free to the first 5 people that. No, your books are first class. To be honest, your books are first class, and they're
I'm teasing.
Beautiful.
You know that.
Yeah, and they're beautiful, and it's that's the type of item. When we have clients come over to the office and we buy a lot of those books, they're blown away at the aesthetics of it. They're very pleasing on the eye to read.
Well, I got to tell you something. Based on book sales, and this is really a thank you to you guys. Our book distributor sends us the numbers, and you guys over the years have bought a ton of books between the Cracker Jack book and just different ones. And I'm sure you use them as giveaways, but thank you. We appreciate it. I mean,
yeah, it's important because people, I'll give them away to kids that are 12, 13 years old, and they're blown away.
And I appreciate that. Yeah. Hey, David, I do have a question regarding the Philly show. I was having a conversation with Joe a couple of months ago, and this coming September is the 50
years
of the. Now, he said to me that you guys are going to do. I know it's probably a little premature, but there's some big things that are going to be happening for that.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I'm more excited for the 50th anniversary of the Philly show than Joe is currently with the national coming.
That's what because he asked us. We're going to be broadcasting from there. Rico and I and JM, you? Oh no, you're out because it's your 60th or 40th or whatever the hell it is, right?
Is that weekend
in September? Yeah. So
yeah, I don't know where I'll be.
Rico and I are going to be doing. We'll be doing the show from there. We're going to be broadcasting from there, but that's going to be quite the event with a VIP reception, all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's we're in planning stages. There's a ton that's going to be coming, to the table between the second national ends and I believe September 21st weekend. Is that
the 18th, 18th, 19th, whenever it is? Yeah.
We've been working behind the scenes, trying to bring in some interesting partners, teams, create some events. I know Joe is going to focus on the signers for that and working with our corporate partners on creating, 50 something. Right. So the idea is, let's celebrate the 50th with either 50 unique items or the top 50, cards that Memory Lane has ever sold. Let's do something that is going to tie directly back to the community and the show. I've been going to that show since it was in the casino in the basement. Right.
Cool.
What Joe has done with that show, similarly to what Jim and Brian did, with the East Coast National and Gloria shows. People forget that the hobby was very different pre-2018, right? And being able to maneuver and execute at a high level from 2005, 2010, 2000, like the business that everyone has built pre 2018 is a testament to what this community is.
Right.
And listen, I personally believe everything's cyclical. I don't think you'll ever, see the turn after, the 90s era, but you have social media now, you've got a massive community of people and frankly, big supporters, right?
Right.
You have Fanatics, you have eBay, you have all of these companies that are coming in and propping up the industry in a positive way and creating these tent poles for it to expand. But, to bring it back to your question, the Philly show has expanded, 4x in size and the demand just ever increases, right?
Right.
The national has expanded, sorry, I'm going to rant for a second, but, back to John's question, if you look at, how an event like the national is put on, Jim Ryan, Brian, Joe, the board, these people are working 12 months a year to
Oh, yeah,
put
definitely.
this event on. And
No
I
doubt.
think people forget that there's a board of trustees, of people that have been involved in the national since 1980, some of them,
Sure.
one way or another, that you have a show management team, you have people like our marketing team and experiences, and then our corporate partners, some of them are working all year to produce the national, to make sure that it's the best possible experience for our attendees. And frankly, I was having a conversation with Jim and Joe in September of last year, and it was, the national's been growing the hobby since its inception, right? If you look, small ballroom, LA, 1980, I think it was 10,000 square feet, pre-social media, pre-cell phones, obviously, right? Like you really had to go to connect with everybody.
Right.
And if you look into where it's come today, I mean, you're over 600,000 square feet. I don't even want to opine
It's
on
crazy.
how many
Absolutely
attendees.
crazy.
I think with the Philly show, it'd be great to have game use stuff like hit up John Tawby and Zane Burns, get some Pete Rose stuff, Mike Schmidt, game use jerseys, bats. That I bet you people would love to.
They would. All right, listen, we're going to take a break pretty soon. Well, in about 30 seconds. David, how can people find out more about the national? Go to the website.
Yeah, I'll give the call letters. It's nsccshow.com. I don't want you to trip over them again. And by the way, Tom,
Man, this is a tough room. This is a real tough room.
This isn't my normal backdrop, right? Normally I'm in my office. This isn't.
You look like you're in a men's room, a public men's room. Where are you?
No, I'm in a train station.
Oh, okay.
I'm in a rental currently for 4th of July, but I'm going to go buy 10 of your books, and I'm going to keep that as my backdrop in my office.
No, don't do that.
100%. Take the plug. Every single call I'm on, it's going to be, the Tom Zappala series of books in my background.
All right, listen, we're going to have you on again. You get it. You understand what we're all about, which is great. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the AI GAX NBA tournament results of the second round, and then Danny's going to be with us for the whole hour. Hang in there. David, thank you so much for joining us. We'll
Thanks,
get back
Thank
to
you guys so much.
David, take care.
Yep,
Daniel,
we'll be
it's
right
a pleasure
back.
to meet you all.
You as
Hang
well.
in,
Take care.
I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petroselli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors.
Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
For more than 30 years, Robert Edward Auctions has been the industry leader when it comes to helping you realize the most money for your baseball cards and sports memorabilia. In addition to their unparalleled reputation for honesty and integrity, they reach the largest number of bidders in the business and offer lower seller's fees, as well as generous cash advances up front on your valuable material. Contact them today at 908-226-9900. That's 908-226-9900 or at robertedwardauction.com.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectibles Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back. And Danny, what was that? Giving me the. That was pretty good the way you did that.
Did I do that?
Yeah.
All right.
No, but you did it to someone off the camera.
Alan's here just visiting.
Alan, I love Alan. He's got a very distinctive voice.
He not only does he, but this guy, it just, you got to love him.
Yeah,
come on over.
Yeah, get
He's
him on
coming in hot.
Alan, how are you? Alan, I was just telling you have a very distinctive voice. Every time I call, you sound like a professor. You should be at Harvard.
Wow. Nobody's ever told me that. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. Right. Now, Tom,
now I'll go away.
Tom, just a quick question, Tom. What is, I know Yale, but what is Harvard?
Harvard.
Harvard. It's like a rash that you get in Massachusetts.
It's a school. It's an ultra liberal school located in Cambridge, Massachusetts, is called Harvard University, soon to be called Northern Essex Community College, after the feds are done with them. Okay,
it's located in Massachusetts. Oh, forget it. Go ahead.
It's time for the GACS. It's time for the GACS AI Sweet 16 NBA All-Time Tournament, powered by Danny Shapiro, the basketball savant, and sponsored by our good friend Paul Borges and the great gang at PB Collectibles. Now, last week in the first round, the 1995 Chicago Bulls crushed pretty much the 1963-64 Boston Celtics 125-92. Round two, we have the number 2 seeded 2016-17 Golden State Warriors versus the number 15 1960-61 Boston Celtics. Who do you think won, Danny?
Definitely the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
By 6.
By 6. No. JM, what do you say?
Well, I'm looking at it, so I did show research, so I know this final score.
Okay, so the round two, the Golden State Warriors bested the 1960-61 Boston Celtics by a score of 121-90. Now, we don't give out the individual team score stats because AI chooses not to do that. But here's a little summation of the game. The Warriors' strength lied in their exceptional three-point shooting, led by Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the Splash Brothers. This skill wasn't emphasized in the same way in the 60s, and their ability to space the floor and knock down shots from deep significantly impacted the game. Modern offense and defensive concepts, if you look at them, modern NBA strategies including zone defenses, switching defenses to counter specific offensive players, and a focus on open layups and dunks are more complex today than they were in the 60s. The Warriors' mastery of these tactics gave them a significant advantage. Individually, the 2016-17 Warriors boasted a star-studded lineup with multiple All-Stars, including Curry, Durant, Thompson, and Draymond Green. Their individual talent and experience was a major asset. Dominance in the paint, though, for the Celtics, the 1960s NBA heavily revolved around dominant big men like Bill Russell. The Celtics' strong front court, potentially featuring players like Bill Russell, posed a challenge to the Warriors, who did not have the same type of dominant presence in the post that the Celtics have. Red Auerbach was a legendary coach known for his emphasis on defense and fast break. While the game's strategies have evolved, Auerbach's tactical knowledge and motivational skills were still formidable.
So they lost by 31.
Well, no, they didn't.
It wasn't a lot of tactical or motivation there.
While the 1960-61 Celtics were a great team with players like Russell, Bob Cousy, Tommy Heinsohn, Sam Jones, and Bill Sharman, their game style and resources were not well equipped to handle the Warriors' advanced offense and modern game. The difference also in the importance of the three-point shot alone made a significant difference.
So can I ask a question?
Yes, fire away.
And maybe it's not you, maybe you don't know, maybe Danny has to answer this. In these games, is there a three-point line?
There is a three-point line, yes.
Okay, then this whole thing is flawed.
No, it isn't, because...
Yeah, it is, because the guys in 60-61 didn't shoot threes.
That's what I'm saying. But, well, see, you're missing the point here. The guys in 60-61 did not shoot threes, but we're going to assume that they had the ability to
They didn't even take shots from that far away. That's the point.
They were great. They were good. Sam Jones was a great shooter. What are you kidding me?
But he didn't take shots from that far away.
What I'm saying...
You know why? Because back then it was stupid to take a shot from that far away.
I clearly agree with what you're saying. However, they had the ability to take those shots.
Why would you take it, though? This is where AI fails. This is where analytics fails. Why would you take that shot in 1960-61 unless the buzzer was sounding and there was no time left on the clock?
No, I think we can agree to disagree on this one, because if the 61
Every team from the 2000s, especially the late 2000s, is going to beat every team from a pre 3-point shot era.
Daniel,
Every team is going to beat that team.
Daniel, what do you think?
Majority.
Try saying NSCC.
I agree with you, NSCC. See, arigato. So, as far as I think the game was quicker back then with like hitting the 2-point shots, the passes, and the orchestration of the, all the plays that are being done. As far as I still think, it could be comparable because as the game's going back then, there was good defense, but I think the defense is better today. I mean, there's a fine line between, I think, a lot of
something, JM, and I still think a guy like a Jerry West, a guy like a Rick Barry, those guys could have hit threes all day long.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm not saying that if you took the 72, 73 Lakers and put them in today with the 3-point line that they couldn't hit the shot because they would want to take the shot because it's worth 3 points.
Right.
What I'm saying is back then, why would you take that shot? It's not worth an extra point. You could go in for the layup and get the same amount of points.
No, but we're assuming that like those old Celtics teams are playing in today's world. That's what I'm trying. That's the point here.
Oh, I thought it was the old team playing.
No, we just have the two teams. I mean, the way I'm looking.
I mean, this is great. I love this. Is fun. I'm not saying let's not do this. I'm just saying it's kind of flawed because the 3-point shot is the biggest change in basketball ever.
And I'm assuming that they're playing to today's standards, both teams. So you've got whoever it is, the 72 Lakers, if they're playing the 85 or 86 Celtics, they're playing to today's standards.
Now flip it. How about the 80s teams going into the 60s?
I think they would really crush. Honestly, I think they would really, really crush those teams.
Yeah.
I think it would be worse.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's you can play this game, and
AI doesn't. What the bottom line is? The bottom line is that if you look at the pairings, Lou, we don't have that, right? Can you? Yeah. If you look at the pairings, okay, and you really take a hard look at them, you're going to see that as we get closer, the talent level is going to get closer with the years played. But there are still some great games. There's no doubt.
No, and this is great, and it's fun to do, and this is what people love to do. They love to compare eras and all that. But the basketball, maybe even unlike any other game, is you can't compare other than football because now you can't hit anybody in football. Can't hit the quarterback, can't hit the receiver, can't play defense in football anymore. But like in basketball, the other thing is, and I'm not saying today's teams wouldn't be successful, but do you really think that Kevin Durant is going to float down the lane like he does now in 1987?
No.
He's going on his ass if he's playing the Pistons,
by the way,
the Celtics, or anyone else.
Okay? I just watched that LA Lakers and the Celtics. I forgot what a fierce rivalry that was with guys like Kurt Rambis getting clotheslined.
And Zap, the Pistons, the Knicks.
Bill Laimbeer.
Those guys, it's a different brand because they let them play.
Yeah.
They let him play. It's just basketball.
If Kevin Durant, you're right. If Kevin Durant did that today, I mean, back then, he would have gotten his head taken off.
I mean, he's a great player. I'm not taking anything away. He's a game-changing player, but it's the era was different, man. You can't do the things today that you could do back then.
Yeah, everything's a review these days.
Yeah.
Everything's like,
that's right.
And that, you know what? Real quick, with all the reviews going on, check this out. It gives them an eternity. So the game is all about it gives them an eternity to rest.
Yeah.
And if they're resting, that's not fair because.
And Dan, you bring up a great point, and our guy here, and we'll get on because no, it's not the whole show. But Larry Bird, okay, he's the guy I always point to. Larry Bird rebounded. He went inside brought the ball inside. He dove for loose balls.
Yeah.
Larry Bird played today. He would camp out at the 3-point line, score about 35 points a game, and play 20 years. because he didn't need to be as physical as he was. Totally
they're
different.
soft.
And not just him.
They're
There's a lot of
soft.
other guys you could say that about too.
All right, let's get back to Mr. Wulkan. Danny, can you give us some tidbits about your September auction? You got any?
Yeah, there's some really. I actually have a little bit of a cheat sheet. There's some really, really good cards. There's a T3 Ty Cobb with a checklist back, PSA 5. We have a 52 Mantle rookie that's authentic, but still, I remember when those cards were like $4 or $5 grand. Now they're like 40 to 50,000, depending on how they present themselves. Just with that rookie card, we have a 51 Bowman PSA 6 Mantle rookie, T206 Cobb, the portrait green Piedmont, a PSA 6. We have a 65 Topps complete graded set. That will be sold. The name is going to be sold separately, but that can be combined if you want to win the whole entire set. A 49 Bowman SGC 8 on the Satchel Page, a 53 Topps Mantle and a PSA 7, a 62 Topps Mantle and a PSA 8, a 67 Topps Football Complete PSA graded set. So a lot of PSA graded sets in the football category. A lot of high-end 8s, Clemente and Koufax, a lot of those cards. A real nice Babe Ruth single-sign baseball. What I love, a 57 Topps hockey set, near complete PSA graded set in all 8s.
Very cool.
A Jordan rookie card and a PSA 8.5, a bunch of really cool stuff. And just to let everybody know, we're still accepting consignments and, up even to the national. And, we're going to move forward with that.
Hey, Danny, what's the thought process when you guys get a call from a collector, someone that has a great item or a great set? What's the thought process with you guys at Memory Lane in terms of, okay, where do we place this? Do we put it in the September auction? Do we wait closer to the holidays? Is it something we want to, promo before the national? What's that like for you guys?
It's a great question. And here's what happened years ago. Things were, with the holidays, you'd put certain stuff in and you'd make it gear it more towards that. Or the season, if it's football season or baseball season, you want to promote, the baseball cards more during baseball season. Now, it doesn't matter if you have football, in April. I mean, it doesn't matter if there's no timing because the collectors have become so advanced that sidebar, they'll buy the card before they pay their mortgage. So it doesn't matter, what season it is or, really what, time of year it is. They're going to buy the card. They love it. They're going to buy it.
Cool. We are chatting with Dan Wulkan. Before we take another break, we got a few minutes. Dan, there's a lot of things happening in the hobby. I have a concern. You're a vintage guy. I think JM is kind of a vintage guy. I know Rico is, and JP. Is the vintage market losing steam because of the influx of young collectors, young traders, young guns that are flipping cards, trading cards, really focusing on signed rookie autographs? Is there a transition taking place, Dan?
No, I don't think so. I think when you say young, you'd say young years ago would be like people in their 40s that are collecting.
I'm talking 13, 14, 15,
right.
18.
Now it's those kids that are collecting that, but you still see, young as in guys that are transitioning from, doing the modern and buying, young kids, like you said, 15, 20 years old. They're getting into that vintage side because they know that that's a safe place to park their money.
So you are seeing that where they're starting to grab. In other words, if they have a portfolio of 80%, I mean, they're starting to bring in some of that vintage material.
I don't think it's more the percentages where I think they're going to buy and sell and they're going to flip the modern and then they're going to grab the profit and parlay it little by little into the vintage. But, you got these athletes that are going to the Fanatic shows that are dropping $25K.
Right.
Exactly. Hard. So
right.
I think from this day on, we're going to see that there's interest in everything. There isn't anything that's kind of like going up or down because of the other side. I think it's just a gluttony, like I said before, of interest in everything. There's a buyer for a cup of water.
Right.
So there's a buyer for anything. So as far as that's concerned, you have the demographic is like from when you can start talking to visiting the GOD.
And Zap, the other thing, and I think it's a great point that you brought up, is that a lot of these young collectors or even new collectors who aren't necessarily young, is they're not stupid. They're doing their homework.
Yeah.
Whether it's online, I know we talk about these influencers, what have you. So, and a lot of them, let's face it, are also in it for the money.
And everybody's an expert.
Yeah, they're doing their homework. So I think I have no data on this, but I think they're going to gravitate to vintage because they realize maybe that is a better investment.
I'm hoping that's the case.
That's why vintage, real quick, that's why vintage will hold its course, because it's all about the pop report. It's all about the supply and the demand. And you have all these kids grabbing these apps that are going to tell you what the last sold card is, like what the last card sold for. And they're all experts on this stuff, but good luck in getting a pop 3 52 mantle 10. It's you have to look at the pop, and you can name your price because there's always going to be another buyer that's going to jump, pay more than the last sale.
Dan, before we take a break, one more question regarding cards. WNBA, good investment?
It's not a matter of the quote unquote investment. I think it's something, if you love the sport, these players come out and they're so popular right away. Cooper Flagg,
I'm saying WNBA.
Right, like either WNBA, like the younger players. Yeah, I mean it's a fun investment to see it, take off, but I think a lot of that stuff is fad. It's a fad, and it's in and out because you pay $200,000 for a Caitlin Clark card.
Right.
And then a year later, there's another one of one.
See, that's
And and it's funny, Dana, you mentioned Cooper Flagg just in passing, because if you buy a Cooper Flagg card now, then you should probably sell it before the season starts.
Yeah, and
because you don't know what this kid's going to do. You really don't.
But the cards have already peaked. You ask about an investment. Yeah. That's when you buy low and hope the guy's going to do well, or hope the girl's going to do well. Yeah. Here, you already have these rookies coming out that they're paying $5,000 and $6,000 for a card, and they haven't played one game.
Yeah,
who is paying these prices?
I can't wrap my arms around it. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We have another segment with Dan the Man Wulkan from Memory Lane Auctions. JM is in the house. Louis behind the glass. We're going to take a quick break. I have my Ritz crackers, baby. I love my Ritz crackers. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petroselli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, Their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you are a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Okay, we be back. And Dan, welcome from Memory Lane Auctions is joining us. Hey, next week, by the way, guys, next week we have a barn burner. We have the 85-86 Boston Celtics, seeded number 3, against the 1970-71 Milwaukee Bucks with Lou Alcindor, or Jabbar, Bobby Dandridge, Oscar Robertson. That's going to be a hell of a game.
Be a good game.
I think so.
70-71, who are they playing?
85-86 Celtics with Parrish, McHale, Bird against Jabbar, Dandridge.
Celtics will win because Jabbar is going to throw the hook and it's going to take up too much time.
Could be.
Celtics they're going to win that game. Yeah.
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
No, they're going to win that game.
118-93.
We'll see.
It's
All
about
right,
right.
listen, we have a new sponsor, JM. Why don't you welcome our good friends, our new good friends at Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency.
I will, buddy. Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency has been insuring collectibles since the early 1980s. The late Tom Finkelmeyer scripted the original sports memorabilia insurance policy when no one else in the industry was insuring sports collectibles. A lifelong collector of sports cards, Tom Sr. instilled a love of collecting in Tom Jr., the current president of Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency. Tom Finkelmeyer Jr., with 3 decades of insurance experience, has paired that expertise with 50 years of collecting. With a litany of professional designations, including counseling and risk management, Tom covers every aspect of your collectible insurance needs. Unlike some of the companies that sell collectibles insurance directly to the consumer online, Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency is the only independent retail agent who specializes in sports memorabilia and collectibles nationwide, representing all major companies that sell collectibles insurance. There is no agent that insures more collectors, dealers, appraisers, auctioneers, or events in the collectibles hobby than Finkelmeyer Insurance. Our good friend and hobby legend John Toby of JT Sports has been using Finkelmeyer Insurance for over 20 years. For more information, go to thefia.com. That's thefia.com. That's Finkelmeyer Insurance, where collecting is our passion.
I'd love to do a show with John Tauby.
John, would you? We'll get you on. John was on with us last week. Last week or the week before. He's just
such a
solid to be. We're going to have fun because this next in Florida this coming winter. I'm on the East Coast, and Rico and his wife Elsie are relocating near us, about a mile from us.
Oh, nice.
And Tauby just bought a place about 20 minutes from us.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
Yeah. So
is there anybody down there under 80?
Me.
John.
Anyways, John's going to be joining us quite a bit over the winter. We're going to have some fun. Dan, I want to ask you a question. With the opening now of allowing Rose, Jackson, Chick Gandil, Buck Weaver, all those guys now are off the hook. And I've asked this question over the last several weeks to our co-host and guests. What's your view of the value of their memorabilia and cards? Is it going to go up? And if it's going to go up, is it only temporary? I mean, obviously Jackson, you put him off to the side, but the rest of them, including Rose.
I don't think it's going to go up or down. I think it's going to stay pretty stable, but it's going to sell and be more popular. Like things will start to move a lot quicker. I think that there already has been a lot more interest, and especially with people putting together Hall of Fame sets, Hall of Fame autographs. They're going to be looking like for the next Joe Jackson to put on the PSA set registry, to spike their GPA. But I think there'll be more interest in buying the items and that they'll sell, not a matter of they're not going to spike. They're not going to go too crazy, go way up in value.
And the thing, Danny, is they still have to be voted in. I mean, just because they're eligible, that doesn't mean the writers are going to put them in. So, you know what I mean, in terms of the Hall of Fame. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's a good point, John. James, you're bringing up a very good point. I never thought of that. I mean, do you think that there's really could be a problem for Joe Jackson and Pete Rose? I mean, forget the other guys, but those two?
I honestly don't think so, because gambling has become such a part of sports now. It's like it's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So I think that they're going to feel there's going to be a lot of writers out there, especially the old guard, who maybe thought that he should have been eligible before this, that are going to love being able to put his name down.
I want to get Lou. I want to get Lou.
Yeah, Lou's a great guy to ask about.
Yeah, Lou. Yeah. Lou is Lou works behind the scenes for that stuff. Lou, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, again, with Pete Rose, I would have been fine, and I said this for years. If the Hall wanted to deviate from Major League Baseball and elect him into the Hall, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
Baseball cannot reinstate him. Betting on baseball is the cardinal sin. It was there all along. You can't have that as part of the game. But the Hall can deviate. So Rosen wouldn't be a problem for me. Rosen isn't a problem for me. He's not going to work in Major League Baseball, obviously. So I don't have a problem with this. My thing about the Hall of Fame is it's a hall of stories. You can tell a Pete Rose story. Put him in, bring him to the plaque, tell the story, all of it, the good, the bad.
You're right. You're right.
Schilling should be in, Bond should be in, Clemens should be in, McGuire should be in. Put them in look at the plaque, tell the stories, good and bad, because that's what the Hall is all
There's
about.
nothing wrong with you putting on that plaque was part of, and whatever.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have a problem with that.
I agree with you, Lou, and I think that's eventually what's going to happen.
Tell me a Howard Danes story, and the Hall of Fame is making a joke of itself. The writers are making a joke of themselves because tell me a Scott Rowland story. Tell me a Howard. You can't do it. Kurt Schilling, I've got 6 of them.
100%.
I love the idea. What you said. It's the Hall of Stories.
100%, Lou.
That's a perfect way to say it.
Right? It's the old. Isn't it the old line? Can I write the history of baseball without mentioning Harold Baines and Scott Rowland? I could write it right now.
No, here's where I get into trouble, because in New York, I got in trouble quite a lot because I said the worst athlete in any Hall of Fame is Joe Namath. But you can't write the story of the NFL without Joe Namath. He has to be in the Hall.
Yeah. And you can't write the story of baseball without Kurt Schilling. You're right.
Or Mark McGuire. He saved baseball.
You're right.
Right?
You're right.
Yes, true.
Great point.
Well, you know something, you're opening up my eyes, Louis, because I was always adamant that those guys had no business in the Hall, Bonds especially because his head was the size of my body. However, with that being said,
that might be more commentary on your body, by the way.
Well, the way you're presenting it now, Lou, I don't think I'd have a problem with that. I really don't. As long as the story is there and you're not trying to hide anything.
I'm in the Ken Caminiti camp. I believe 60, 70, 75% of players were using 2 guys hit 70 homers.
Yeah.
Right? In that era, he put himself above in that era, even with everything that was going on.
And I'm not a fan of steroids, but you got to have the hand-eye coordination, don't you?
100%.
Yeah. You still have to have that Jedi hand-eye coordination to connect with the ball.
The two guys that hit 70s weren't scrubs.
No, I agree.
They weren't scrubs.
I agree with that. Rico has. We're pressed for time here, but Rico has told me stories, and obviously I'm not going to mention names, but prominent players that we all know that is like, wow. I mean, one of his teammates from way back, they used to call them greenies, amphetamines.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Sure. He was doing 10 a game.
Yeah. Doc Ellis. Wasn't Doc Ellis doing that?
No, Doc Ellis was tripping when he was pitching.
LSD, right?
He was doing LSD. So anyway.
By the way, does anyone who ever saw Jeff Bagwell believe he wasn't doing steroids?
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good point. Good point. And then, of course, who was the kid from Baltimore?
Brady Anderson.
Brady Anderson, right.
Oh, man.
The guy hits 10 home runs one year, like 140 the next. All right, listen, Dan, we're just about out of time. As always, man, we love having you. You've been with us.
You guys.
You and JP have been with us since day one. We are now in our 9th. We're in our 9th year, man. We're in our 9th year.
That's great. That's really cool.
It really is cool, man. I mean, Mallory had hair. He had hair when we started.
Not really, but I hadn't gone the full shave. But
you were Tom. You were only 76.
Love you, Danny.
Don, send a check to Memory Lane. That's.
Oh, by the way, Dan, just September 18th, you've got a couple of really cool items in there. Like, do you have any good contracts that are going to be in there?
Here we go.
It's Grover, the Grover from Sesame Street. His contract, Mr. Alexander. No, Grover Alexander. Bid big and bid often. www.memorylaneinc.com.
And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but that contract, there's a story behind it. You know the story because he went into the office after the year after Walter Johnson signed his contract. And he was coming off the triple crown of pitching, and he said, "I want to get what he's getting." That's the story behind the story.
Text that to me on a serious note. Text that to me.
I will. I'll give you the whole story. It's a cool story. That's why I bought it.
Very cool.
And don't forget to bid on it, Mallory. All right. With that being said,
Lane is still accepting consignments again. www.memorylaneinc.com. Give us a call 877-606-5263. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Say hi to JP.
Thanks,
say hi to Leslie and the gang back there. JM, we'll see you down the road.
Couple weeks, brother. Yeah.
Louis, great job as usual.
Nice
and
job,
to our viewers and listeners, again, thanks for all the support. We're going to be at the National, but we have a couple of more shows before that. By the way, Hall of Fame, TZ, July 16th. Ellen and I are going to be at the Hall of Fame, giving a little talk and doing a book signing. We're very excited about that.
listen, just try to do some justice to Lou and I's writing. Okay.
I will do
try to
that.
get a little bit.
And Tom, I'll be in Italy, so I'll miss you.
Oh, very good. With that being said, to our viewers and friends, happy collecting.